Hey guys, Analog Man here for another deck profile, and as you can see from the title, we are finally coming back to Security Control, one of the main decks of the channel, especially for me because I am by default a control player. So Security Control finally coming back in BT10. Amazing, and we finally get the new cards that help boost this deck so that it can actually survive against the old OTK decks, and the fact that we get to basically stop a lot of effects now thanks to a new level 6 new yellow level 6. Actually, to be honest, it's a very powerful card. But anyway, let me just show you the build I have so far for this is my initial build. It will go through some changes depending on my locals. My locals is very kind of weird because we all play a lot of different decks, so I have to kind of switch it up depending on what everybody's playing that week or whatever. But yeah, let's get into the eggs first, which is for Viximon. Viximon stays consistent even in this format, very powerful, and I'm actually kind of glad I'm switching back to it because the other ones I tried, Cupimon and Upamon, were decent, but they weren't as powerful as her because her giving you that plus, that draw one, can be crucial in certain situations. So I honestly, in my opinion, I'd rather have draw power rather than like maybe boost power or whatever. But yeah, Vixie is still very solid. Then for level 3s, we of course still run the 4 Salamons because it does help you heal when you have 3 or less security. But yeah, she's still solid, and yeah. So that's all the level 3s we run. For level 5s, we actually run a little bit more than usual now. We still run the 4 Magna Anges because we want to heal. But the kind of new addition is Angelomon. I did play this back when I didn't have 4 of these AAs, so having her is actually kind of crucial because sometimes you can just flame Hellscythe and then do -2 on their guy, which can actually save you in certain situations. So really powerful. But yeah, we only run the 6 level 5s. Then for the level 6s, this is where the deck actually changes a little bit from the old cards. We're running the 2 Avenged Kidmons, of course, because 50% of our deck is option cards, so you do want him at least at 2, maybe 3, depending on how you feel, to recycle your deck and make it so you don't deck out while they do. Then we run 2 of the new level 6 Venusmon. This was the yellow level 6 I was talking about earlier. She is really powerful mainly because of her when digivolving effect and opponent's turn effect. So basically, when digivolving, she gives all of your opponents -1 security until the end of their turn. And during their turn, all of their opponents that have the security attack, either -1 or plus or whatever, anything that involves security plussing or minusing, they can't attack her, and they can't activate when attacking and when digivolving effects. So basically, you're shutting down a majority of almost every deck because every deck relies on a when digivolving or a when attacking stuff, especially the OTK decks from BT9. So this completely shuts their deck down, and they can't do anything about it until the end of their turn, because even when it's pushed up from raising, or if it's just played on the field, it will automatically get that -1 security and it will stop them. Then we run 2 of the new Sukuyamon Maid mode, or Miko mode, however you want to pronounce it. I call it Miko mode because I like to go by the original translation. This card's really busted. You can actually just Digivolve it on top of a level 6 yellow for 2. So after the turn that you play this, you can just evolve this on top. When digivolving, you can use an option card that's 5 or less, and there are a lot of yellow option cards that are 5 or less, so you get to replay it, then put it back in your security. So if you do like a healing card like Tactical Retreat, which I do, you do Tactical Retreat's like something like this or whatever, and you just place it again, so then you get 2 security instead of just 1, so it's very powerful. But yeah, we're only running the 6 level 6s. Then, of course, for the level 7, we run the best one still. Defx helps control boards, de-digivolves, kills everything level 4 or lower, and kills the lowest cost at the end of their turn, so really powerful. And he's very big. He is a 15,000 dude, so he is very hard to get rid of sometimes, and it forces your opponent to actually have to get rid of it, so really powerful. So you absolutely must run this at 4, especially in the new security control builds that will be, circulating around, so yeah. The rest of the deck is just all options, so let's just get into it. So, of course, we're running the 4 Holy Waves because Holy Wave's still busted. It helps you heal. You can just pass turn with it. You can also heal when it's hidden security. Then we run 4 of the new yellow option card. I honestly do not know how to pronounce it that well, so I'm not even going to attempt it. The first effect involves Pulsemon and making it so that it doesn't have to meet a color requirement, basically. But the main effect is where we want it. Basically, if you have 3 or more security cards, it becomes a minus 12,000, basically a weaker Wyvern's Breath. But when you have 3 or less, it becomes a Chaos Degrade and just puts your opponent's guy onto the top of their security and that face down, and that's it. So it's basically both Wyverns and Chaos Degrade together. So it's really powerful. Then we run 4 tactical retreats, mainly for the Miko mode to trigger, but also the fact is that when this is hidden security, you just get a recovery +1, so, why not run 4? Then 1 reinforcing memory boost. Still one of the best yellow cards, and I'm still sad that it's only at 1, but we have to run it. Then we play, for purple, we ran 1 Calling from the Darkness, because this card does actually kind of come in clutch sometimes, because maybe their whole board is filled. You just play this for 1, grab back Def X, and just wipe their board, so really, really good as a 1-of. Then we run 4 Chaos Degrades, because Chaos Degrade is still the most broken card in the deck, because it can get around a lot of Digimon that say can't be deleted or can't be bounced, especially like Galmon, because Galmon's still really strong. This is one of the few cards that gets around it, so really powerful. You have to run it 4. Then we run the 4 Flame Hellscythes, because Flame Hellscythe is really powerful still, and it lets you replay Magna Anges and Angelwomon to kind of stall your opponent out. And yeah, that's all the options we play. It looks a little bit less than normal, but that's also because we're trying to fit in some of the new level 6s. So I feel like this is actually a pretty good amount of options, because then you also get a good amount of Digimon for once, instead of just only relying on the options, which a lot of red decks can turn off, which really sucks, but that's how it is. So I like that Security Control has actually adapted to that kind of format, so really cool. Then the rest are Tamers, so we run 4 Karis. Kari is way more crucial now in this format, especially because almost both Crossheart and Blue Flare and Dark Knight can check a lot. So this helps kind of push it to your turn and make it so they can't do a second swing. Then we run 2 Mimis, because people still do play option cards, and you play a bunch of option cards. So having at least 2 of these can reduce your costs from like 6 to 4. So that can be very crucial in certain instances. Then for the last Tamer, we run 2 TKs, because TK is still really good in this deck, and you run a lot of yellow cards, so this will always grab something. You can even grab a Miko mode or whatever, but it's still a very awesome card. And the fact that it can set your memory to 3, so very crucial to have a memory tamer just in case in almost every deck, except maybe Jesmon, but even then it's like still kind of iffy. I like having a memory tamer so my opponent can't just keep me at 1. But yeah, this is the deck. This is the new security control, and I wanted to push this out so that people can, use this build and like, get a feel for it, for how it works now. It's way stronger than before, but it's still also the same deck at the same time. But it's just, it's basically, we just keep getting more tools. That's basically what Security Control is. It's a deck that can just keep adapting to every format, because every format it gets like maybe 1 or 2 new tools, but those 1 or 2 new tools can basically make the deck even more powerful than it used to be, and can help it keep up with the meta, especially now that Yellow Hybrid has become basically non-existent. This deck has to take the reins of being the main control deck of the format, and has to be the one to kind of stop the new decks in some capacity. And I know for a fact that Blue Flare has a really hard time against this deck. Crossheart, kind of iffy, but you can take them down pretty easily, especially if you keep healing. They can check all they want, but once they lose all their cross 4s and cross 5s, they can't really do much, because then their Digimon are kind of just stuck on their tamers. Like, they can keep reusing it, but at the same time, they will run out of resources eventually. They do not have a way to recycle like you do, so they will lose at some point. Against Dark Knightmon, they can check a lot, but even if you maintain a board, if you just keep healing, they can't really bust through your wall, essentially, so it's really strong. Against Jesmon, I honestly think the only threat to this deck would be red decks like, say, Galmon and Jesmon, because Jesmon is still very powerful, and the fact that it has access to Delicate Plan, and the fact that it now has a new Sistermon that has Decoy, so it's going to be really hard to delete it. I mean, you could possibly, like weight, but at the same time, they swarm the board faster than you. So by the time you even set up like let's say one or two tamers and heal even once, they already have the Jessamon GX and they already have the basically two like three or four maybe Sistermons on board. So I feel like the hardest matchup will be against Jessamon and Galmon mainly because those are the top red decks at the moment. So just look out for those and I think you should be fine. Just play it safe in certain situations, just kind of time everything right, and you might be able to get through, but there's still very hard matchups. And, I mean, security control, like, just like every other Digimon deck, it has a counter, and sometimes you just got to take the L, but against everything else, you're free and clear. So try this deck out. Let me know what you think of it, and I'll see you guys next time.